Yeah, so I am on my book tour at the moment with my 10-month-old baby, which is why I have notes. I won't read from them, I swear, probably, but I'm holding them. And I'm impressed by your story, Deborah, of using your breast pump at LaGuardia. I haven't done that, but I did use my breast pump in the bathroom of the Acela train, which is also pretty gross. Just in case anybody wants to try that, I don't really recommend it. So one of the things that I've been asked a number of times so far doing the events for my new book is how close this story is to my own life, autobiographically. There are some things that I have in common. My sort of joke answer is that the Posts, the fictional family in The Vacationers, live on 75th Street, and I grew up on 85th Street, so it's a completely different universe, I'm sure you understand. I think they might even be 10023 instead of 24, I'm not sure. But, you know, there are some similarities. It's a sort of bookish family with parents and an older son and a younger daughter and so forth. So there are some basic facts that we have in common, but really it's not about my family at all. But there is sort of one aspect of my life that I did actively try to correct or perfect in the lives of my characters, which is what I'm going to tell you a little bit about right now. This is about to get really personal. I hope you're ready. So I went to college, this is mortifying, a virgin. I know, gasping is appropriate. This is despite going to an extremely liberal high school here in New York City where, you know, people are practically having sex in the hallways. But I somehow made it all the way to Oberlin College in deepest Ohio as a virgin and was pretty sure that I was the only one there. I felt really, really self-conscious about this fact. I felt like I had sort of a gigantic birthmark on my face or like some flashing neon sign. It got to the point where I felt so awkward about never having done it that I felt like I couldn't do it because I hadn't already done it. And you obviously had to tell someone that you hadn't done it before you were going to do it, and that was too embarrassing, so I just didn't do it. Yeah. So anyway, it was the summer between my freshman and sophomore years. I came home to New York City for summer vacation, and there was a very, very handsome boy who I knew from my creative writing classes, who was from Connecticut, but was staying in his stepfather's apartment on Central Park West, right just a few blocks away from my parents' house, and we started hanging out. Now, I didn't think he was my boyfriend. I knew he wasn't my boyfriend because he wasn't very nice to me, and he was really handsome. I guess that's not why he wasn't my boyfriend, but he was very handsome, but he kept doing these confusing things like, we would make a date, what I thought was a date, and then I would show up and there would be like 3 other people there, things like that. He did once bring me to his family's country house, which was on Block Island, which is very beautiful. I was just talking to someone here who's going to Block Island. But anyway, so we had to do this humiliating thing where you can take an airplane to Block Island. You sort of take the train and then you take this tiny little puddle jumper airplane. And because the plane is so small, you have to tell the pilot how much you weigh. So like, come on, give me a break. You know, I was struggling enough with like just speaking in full sentences to this guy, and then I had to like tell him how much I weighed, which was also problematic. But anyway, so we finally, eventually get down to it, and oh, wait, no, I haven't told you. Sorry, I forgot something embarrassing, which is the reason that he wasn't really my boyfriend, that I knew he was never really going to be my boyfriend, was because at Oberlin, there are 2 kinds of people, as far as I could tell. There were the people who did contact improv, which is what he did, which is this kind of dance class. I don't know if they have this at other places, but it's this kind of dance class where you sort of gather in the middle of campus, right in front of the student union, where everyone sits all the time, and you sort of dance. I don't know, you move around, I guess, sort of with your eyes half closed. And then when you bang into somebody, you then sort of roll over them, and then you're kind of dancing together. So there were the kind of people at Oberlin who did that, and he was one of those. And then there was me, and I was the kind who sat on the bench smoking cigarettes, thinking about how much I hated those people. So it wasn't built to last, this relationship anyway. He also had both of his nipples pierced, which obviously I didn't know in creative writing class. And I didn't really know what that meant for me in terms of, it just scared me. And then he had a large tattoo in the middle of his thigh that was an Egyptian eye. I think all of this was supposed to be really sexy, but it was not. This poor guy. I think one of the reasons that he probably should not have had sex with me was that he knew that I was a writer and that this was like really going on the permanent record. I don't know if he pictured this. We are still friends on Facebook. I'm sorry. He just got married. It's beautiful. They have 2 children. It's fine. Anyway, so back to the night itself. So we were about to do it, and I told him that I was a virgin, that really at the last second. And so it was really already too late. And he was not so excited about it. I don't know how he didn't know. I'm surprised he didn't know, but apparently he didn't know and just thought that I was really holding out for some other reason. But anyway, so we finally did it, and I patted myself on the back. I felt super, super good about it because it was done. It was like my vestigial tail had been removed. I felt like $1,000,000. Which brings me to my book. So when I started writing The Vacationers, I knew that I wanted Sylvia, who is in the book an 18-year-old girl who has just graduated from high school and is about to go to college. I knew that I wanted her to lose her virginity in the book. And the book takes place in Mallorca, Spain, where she's really marooned with her family for 2 weeks. So there weren't that many options, but I knew it had to happen. And so I gave her this beautiful Spanish tutor who, I don't know much about sports, but I do follow tennis, and I really like Rafa Nadal. So I was just thinking, like, if you were in Mallorca with your parents and you really wanted to lose your virginity, like, who would be the perfect person to lose your virginity to? Rafa Nadal. So he's not a tennis player in my book. He's a college student who is tutoring Sylvia in Spanish, just to make a little extra money. But I did give her a really outstanding first time. This Spanish tutor, whose name is Joanne, takes her to a secluded beach, which is sort of inspired by this beach that I went to opposite the Robert Graves house down this very steep mountain. It's really beautiful. They start kissing in the water, and he actually lifts her up and carries her onto the beach. It might be slightly over the top, but I thought, you know what? She deserves it. And so I gave it to her. She also has an orgasm, so that's really good too. But thank you. So that's that. Sorry, I got sidetracked. I was thinking about Rafa Nadal on the beach. Yeah, so this is just to say, there are many perks to being a fiction writer, but I think this is my favorite so far. Thank you so much for having me.